Joining us now with the signal tune, Thank God It's Friday, and stories trending around the world is OjyOkpe, your favorite day of the week.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Happy Friday.
Yes, same to you.
Good morning, TGIF. Ayomide, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Great. I'm happy
Thank
to hear
you.
that. Rufy on fire. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Perfecto.
All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with the controversy that has erupted at the National Assembly after opposition senators accused Senate President Godswill Akpabio of misrepresenting the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 that was passed on Tuesday. The senators, led by Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, held a press briefing on Wednesday claiming that the version of the bill announced as passed did not reflect what was actually approved during plenary.
To put the records straight, yesterday, the Senate did not, I repeat, did not pass transfer of results, which was in the 2022 Act. What we passed, and which the Senate President himself, when he was doing a clarification sitting on his chair, is transmission of results. Transmit, not transfer. What is in 2022 is transfer. And we don't want a law that is vague. We don't want a law that will be misinterpreted by anybody. We want a law that is clear, concise, and can be interpreted by all, and that is unambiguous. So it is electronic transmission of results. Yes. Thank you.
All right, clearly spelled out. Transmission, not transfer. Well, on Wednesday, Senate President Godswill Akpabio tried to clarify the Senate's decision, saying that the Senate did not reject electronic transmission of results, but retained its provisions in the current Electoral Act. Let's take a look.
But the social media already is awash with the fact that the Senate has rejected electronic transmission. That is not true. That is not true. Electronic transmission had always been in our act. And what we did was to retain the electronic transmission, which had been in our act and which was used in 2022. Let me just mention the fact that there was no deliberate attempt on the part of the Nigerian Senate to delay the amendment of the Electoral Act. Our intention had always been to ensure that we do our best and we do it painstakingly.
All right. What Nigerians are asking is not to retain the Electoral Act 2022, but to amend it to make electronic transmission of results mandatory. We want results to be uploaded in real time onto the IRF portal from polling units. Currently, Section 63 of the Electoral Act does not mandate the electronic transmission of results. It gives INEC the discretion to determine the method of transfer of results. Nigerians want that section amended. And I'll take Peter Obi's post. In a lengthy tweet he wrote in part, the Senate's blatant rejection of mandatory electronic transmission of results is an unforgivable act of electoral manipulation ahead of 2027. This failure to pass a clear safeguard is nothing short of a deliberate assault on Nigeria's democracy. By rejecting these essential transparency measures, they are eroding the very foundation of credible elections. The turmoil, disputes, and manipulations that plagued past elections, especially the 2023 general election, stemmed directly from the refusal to fully implement electronic transmission. Nigerians were fed excuses of a fabricated glitch that never existed, while numerous African nations adopt electronic transmission to bolster democracy. Nigeria, the supposed giant of Africa, shamelessly lags behind, dragging the continent backwards by rejecting mandatory electronic transmission, a critical safeguard for electoral integrity. We are entrenching this order aimed at perpetuating confusion according to the whims of a small clique. Have we not reached a point where we must think seriously about the future of our country and our children? When the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, aware of our history, labeled us fantastically corrupt, we reacted defensively. When President Donald Trump declared us a now disgraced nation, we were incensed, yet with every act of resistance against transparency and reform, we continue to affirm their claims. Those responsible will later point fingers at others for harming the country while they quietly suffocate its potential. Let there be no illusion. The criminality witnessed in 2023 will not be tolerated in 2027. Nigerians everywhere must start getting ready to rise up, resist, and reject the backward trajectory, legitimately and decisively reclaim our country from the clutches of deliberate malevolence. I mean, that was, a detailed tweet. Again, electronic transmission of results is critical to preventing the kind of collation center manipulation that has plagued Nigerian elections. The fact that opposition senators from PDP, LP, and even one APC member are united on this issue shows how fundamental this provision is. Nigerians deserve a credible election. And some of the argument, like I heard from the Senate spokesman, Adaramodu, yesterday, who was on our nightly news program, Newsnight, was the fact that, when you go to some remote places and, during the election, sometimes you're not able to upload the results, instantly, real time, because that's what people are asking. But that, if people don't see that the results are being uploaded in real time, they might feel disenfranchised and there will be chaos. That was his explanation. But the question that was asked was, do you have a mobile phone? In those areas, do we have electronic transmission of even conversations? And the answer is yes. We must revive our system. We must find ways to make sure that this system must work for Nigerians to believe in credible elections. Rufai.
You know why I was like,
yeah.
Adaramodu's argument is so jaded, bruh. Mr. Senator, your argument is so jaded. It's so 2023. These were the same dumb, daft arguments they made in 2023 that we shut them up for. Dumb, daft arguments. You don't even need a lot of bandwidth to be able to do the transmission. Are you guys kidding me? And you're bringing that argument again to 2027? It's daft. It's dumb. Please, we are not fools. INEC gets about 97% transmission for election. Are you not in this country?
Yeah.
Don't you see INEC gets about 97% transmission? Is it not from rural areas that do the transmission? Why is it that we have a set of leaders that always bring us back as a nation? Nigeria, you see, every morning I wake up and I see how blessed this country is. But when I see the quality of leaders we get, they are not even deserving of lacing the boots of the hardworking citizens of this country. Now the next thing, the senators, the bunch of them, sat together and they're trying to say, oh, it's transfer, not transmission. Heck yeah, we know what we're talking about.
All right.
It's transmission. You transmit, you send across a medium. Internet is a medium here, not transfer. And why we are doing this is to nullify the collation, the criminal center called collation center,
Right.
where people manipulate the elections.
Yes.
And by the way, if they've got nothing to hide, why did we have a technological glitch? Why was it only the presidential election? Nigerians must stand for this. These senators must stop making us a joke. And please, people, mark their face down. In the next election, deal with them. Show them how you feel.
Dr. Abbas.
Okay, a number of
Nonsense.
Earlier on today, we had former Minister Obi Ezekwesili And we started with the piece she has written on the subject that it looks like the National Assembly is playing with fire. But the major point of our submission in the article she wrote is about trust.
Yes.
That to build trust
Correct.
in the electoral process, the National Assembly, in redefining, amending, reviewing the Electoral Amendment Act of 2022, must be seen to be doing it in a transparent and accountable manner to build confidence in the electoral process, so that the people will believe that the 2027 general election has not been rigged from now, and that it will be free, fair, and credible. So that's why transparency and accountability is important. The second issue to raise is the point made by Yemi Adaramudu, who is the spokesperson of the Senate. Now, you won't be able to transmit from some rural areas and all of that. He was just making a comment on the level of our development. They have elections in other places. When they hold elections in the US or they hold election in the UK, in some countries, you may not even know that the election is going on. People will go to work, everything will happen, and it will be transmitted.
Yes.
But what the senator was saying, basically, is that we're still a backward country when it comes to election management. And what Nigerians and the commentariat have been saying is that, look, can we raise the level of performance, both institutionally and also procedurally? And in that regard, you cannot argue with the people. It's about raising the standards. Now, I made a point before that, you know, the politicians, the lawmakers are probably looking at pragmatism. Nobody, as a politician, will want to go and make a law that will remove him from power. So it's a game also of self-preservation. And Nigerians are saying, contrary-wise, that we, the people, should be the ones to decide. When you produce when we have voted, transmit real time.
Yes.
So that all of us can monitor the votes. If you say, defend your votes, how will we defend the votes if what we get there will be at the discretion of INEC?
All right.
Finally, I do not think that those who are commenting on this should speak in a fashion that will look like they are inciting the people. Because when you tell the people, rise up, occupy National Assembly, that will be a form of incitement. I think the opposition should also speak like statesmen, like leaders. But I know it can be very frustrating when you see those in charge trying to play games with the process. But, you know, nobody should recommend violence. Nobody should incite anybody, because the process itself has not been completed.
All right.
House of Reps is still saying they still have their own objections. The harmonization process has not taken place.
Right.
The president has not signed. So you can put pressure through your representatives.
And that's what we are doing here. Ayo, you wanted to say something, but let's quickly just say before,
So
that
quick
you can
fun
end.
fact.
What was it?
ECHA image on IREF is roughly between 200 to 800 kilobytes per polling unit results. If it's properly captured, it falls between 300 to 600 kilobytes. Daramodu's argument does not hold water.
All right. Okay.
I've just proven empirically for you.
Argument around the fact that just with your phone network, if you are in a network in a network deprived area, even when you send messages and it has a one tick, when you get to an area, but the main issue is that let it be transmitted there.
Right.
Where you then get at least the point that you cannot change it in transit. That's what people are asking for, and that argument it falls flat. It speaks of almost an ignorance of how technology works, and it's quite sad to see that that's the level of our development here in Nigeria. I think it paints us in very bad light. But very quickly on inciting, Nigerians will get to a point, and I can bet you that they would not need an opposition figure to make a point around that. I recall when the Enough is Enough movement started, that term, enough is enough. When you continue to push the people, whether or not anybody comes out to say it, the people will fight back. And that's why it is a note of warning to our leaders that let's look at examples around the world. Look at Kenya, look at Nepal, look at Tanzania. People, and you can't kill everybody. So the truth is that people still have a right to peaceful protest, but you cannot push Nigerians to the wall and expect that they just keep looking docile, and we keep saying, oh, just calm down. If they have used all the legal options, and this is why we are asking them to let the voices of people be heard, so that people do not feel aggravated beyond the point of legality.
Speaking about Obi's question, Cecily and her note. I'd like to read the final word for the Senate and for the Nigerian people to know what the provision is. For the avoidance of any confusion, here is the exact text of the key proposed provision from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to the INEC result viewing portal, IREV, in real time, and such transmission shall be done after the prescribed Form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and, where available, countersigned by candidates or polling unit agents. This cannot be too difficult. We wait for the harmonization of that bill. Nigerians deserve a credible election. Now, let's highlight this major development from Kaduna State, where Governor Uba Sani on Wednesday received the remaining worshippers who were abducted on January 18 during coordinated attacks by terrorists in 3 churches in Kaduna Local Government Area of the state. The victims were among 183 worshippers abducted. Their release was facilitated through a joint operation involving the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Department of State Services, and the Kaduna State government, with no ransom reportedly paid. The victims were received during an emotional reception at the Government House, where Governor Uba Sani confirmed that all 183 abducted worshippers are now free.
Medically fit, and they have all returned home. And I'm happy to announce that President Remi Tinubu has given me the assurance that our request will be fulfilled by the grace of God. I also want to thank all the security agencies, the DSS. I want to thank my friend and brother, Tosin Ajayi.
Freed worshippers are now receiving treatment and psychosocial support. We're happy that all 183 worshippers are now safe. The coordinated efforts between the Office of the National Security Advisor, DSS, and the Kaduna State government shows what is possible when security agencies work effectively together. Now, this is welcoming development for a lot of the family members that, had been crying for almost 2 weeks. I'm happy to see that, all of them are back safe and they're looking healthy, receiving treatment and social support. Yes. Go ahead.
That's fantastic, and that's what we usually call on just post-traumatic support for the victims or kidnapping victims. Yeah. But whilst we congratulate and thank, great stuff for the military, the security agents, the government, there are still many questions that arise, OG, and the reason why these questions are important is that we do not want to come back here again, announce another kidnapping incident, and announce another release with, jubilations like this. So the key questions are, number one is that this must be a case study, not just in Nigeria, but around the world. How are we able to release 183 people with no form of combat, nobody arrested, no sense of violence? These are the key questions that Nigerians are asking, so that we can get, some answers to that.
Fantastic. We are happy that they are back home with their families, like I said, and, Nigerians are asking how were they released, would like to know what measures have been taken to prevent this sort of, attack from occurring again in the future. Again, kudos to the DSS and the Kaduna State government. Thank you for bringing our Nigerians back home. Meanwhile, in Benue State, more than 16 people were killed after a vicious attack by armed herdsmen in Kwande Local Government Area of the state. Residents say the attack took place on Tuesday, sparking new outrage over the rapidly worsening insecurity in the area. Well, according to eyewitnesses, the gunmen descended on a market, opened fire, looted shops, and took millions of naira from traders before setting the market on fire. This is horrific. Benue State Police Command have confirmed the attack, saying that one mobile police officer was also killed. One resident stated that this latest assault has led to people now being forced to leave their homes. Again, further accounts accuse officials of neglecting communities close to Nigeria's border, noting that Obande lies along the border between Nigeria and Cameroon. And you know, Benue again in the news. Only yesterday we talked about almost 200 people killed in Kwara, now 16. The day before it was Katsina, 20. What is going on in Nigeria? Well, in Katsina State, hundreds of people gathered on the streets to mourn the brutal killing of 20 people who were massacred by terrorists in Askari Local Government Area of the state. The terrorists on Tuesday shot sporadically in Doma community for 3 hours, killing the victims. Well, here is a video of the mourners parading through the streets.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد
Dr. Bati, this was so heartbreaking to watch. May their souls rest in peace.
Well, we go through the same ritual every time. People get killed, and then we say, may their souls rest in peace. Government issues statements. The perpetrators, the extremists will be brought to book. You know, we already have like a playbook for it. I think the basic thing is that government has a responsibility to protect the dignity of the human person and to respect and ensure respect for the right of the average Nigerian to life. Sections 33 and 34 of the 1999 Constitution. Government says it's challenging. Now we have cooperation with the United States. The Americans are talking about it. They've sent some troops on the ground. Yeah. They've sent equipment. Turkey, after the recent trip, is also saying it will cooperate with Nigeria. So it's a global challenge. Yes. The thing is for the Nigerian government to continue to mobilize everything to see that people do not die needlessly.
All right.
In Katsina, we had mass burials, people trooped out, you know. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation. And people are saying, Kwara, again. You know, the thing is just getting close and closer to every part of Nigeria.
All right.
So it's deplorable.
Really deplorable. In Benue State, Nigerians need to feel safe in their homes. Kwara, Katsina, Nigerians need to feel safe in their homes. Again, may their souls rest in peace. In another development, reactions have trailed U.S. President Donald Trump's public acknowledgement of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, during the 74th National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. The National Prayer Breakfast is an annual event that gathers political, religious, and international leaders for reflections on faith and unity. During his address, Trump paused to recognize the First Lady, who attended as a prominent Christian pastor and faith leader. He described her as a very respected woman and a woman of significant influence and faith, noting her position as a pastor at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, one of Africa's largest Pentecostal denominations. Let's take a look.
But we're honored to be joined today by the First Lady of Nigeria, who also happens to serve as a Christian pastor at the largest church in Nigeria, a very respected woman. First Lady, please, where are you? Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Very respected person, too. Thank you.
Very respected person. Well, some may see this public recognition as a game changer in U.S.-Nigeria relations following Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concerns over reported Christian persecution. Now, Nigeria's First Lady is being honored at America's most prominent faith event. Whether this signals a thaw, intentions, or is simply diplomatic courtesy remains to be seen. And I'll take Adebanji's post on X. He wrote, "When the world's most powerful leaders start giving flowers to our First Lady, it tells you the narrative is changing. You can't hate the player and the game at the same time. This is a win for the green, white, green. First getting that global recognition from President Trump. The most beautiful thing on the timeline today. To the obedience. If this makes you angry, you might need to check your patriotism. Levels stay changing." Well, meanwhile, President Trump also confirmed that the U.S. worked with the Nigerian government to carry out the December 25th airstrikes in Sokoto State and issued a stern warning to terrorists in Nigeria, declaring that attacks on Christians will be met with violent retaliation from the United States.
On Christmas Day, in close coordination with the government of Nigeria, we worked with them, but they got to get tougher. I ordered powerful airstrikes to decimate the ISIS terrorists who have been slaughtering Christians in that country by the thousands. It's not even believable. We hit them so hard, they still don't know what the hell happened. And we were going to do it on a different day. I said, no, do it on Christmas, so they understand it. Remember, Christmas was, when I ran in 2015, when I announced, I said, we're going to bring back Christmas, because the word Christmas was almost gone, and we did. People use Christmas anymore. We brought back the word Christmas. They didn't want to use it, and we're using it again. But I specifically told Pete, I said, hit him on Christmas Day. Not earlier and not later, right, Pete? And man, did he hit him. So then we hit him again recently. We hit him again pretty hard.
All right, Ayo, Trump's remarks here gives room for a wider interpretation. On one hand, he's publicly honoring Nigeria's First Lady as a respected Christian pastor, while simultaneously maintaining his stance on Christian genocide in Nigeria and issuing warnings suggesting that the government needs to get tougher against terrorists. Like I said,
thank you.
All the diplomatic.
I think you're the only one, at least I've seen so far, that's played, this length. The only video that, and for good reason, you can understand that. But two truths can exist at the same time. And earlier today, I'd asked a question in analyzing this story that, or commenting on the story, that is it possible, to what extent would this public acknowledgement and praise of the First Lady? I'd also talked about, just to give a little picture of the fact that, in truth, you can't argue the fact that Mrs. Remi Tinubu, in her own right, has demonstrated quite a significant and record in her own public service life. She was First Lady of Lagos State. She founded the New Era Foundation, and I will never forget the governor of the day in promotion of education in Lagos State, which has been sustained up until now. So she's known as a philanthropist, a community developer. Then also she went into the Senate. She was elected to the Senate, and she made considerable mark while she was there in the Senate, almost scot-free in terms of scandal, a few here and there. But now she's become First Lady, and a number of people have praised her status so far, having elevated that role. Some people thought she would be very dominant, but this is the definition of soft power diplomacy. And just to end on the fact that many other First Ladies have done it. In fact, we're talking about Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a delegate, a U.S. delegate to the United Nations.
You should mention is Evita. Evita Peron. That's the highest standard of soft power diplomacy.
But what I would say is that we want to see the perception of Nigeria on the global scene positive. However, it shouldn't take away our responsibility to fix our challenges and issues around Christian genocide back home. But I'm glad for this particular, interaction between the president and the First Lady.
All right, well said, Ayo. Well said. Well, let's take a lighter story now. In the United Kingdom, Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch had an unexpected guest steal the spotlight during a live television interview on Tuesday. Guess what? It was a mouse. During the interview on ITV's Peterson show, viewers spotted the mouse scurrying across the floor in the background while host Robert Peterson was interviewing Badenoch in her Westminster office. The rodent was captured darting under the radiator as Badenoch discussed political topics completely unaware of the foreign intruder. Let's take a look.
Those are the owners of the house.
The important thing is that the information comes out. And let's be honest, Robert, at 12 p.m. today, the Prime Minister was saying he wasn't sending anything to the committee. At 12 p.m. today, the Prime Minister was saying he wasn't sending anything to the committee. He'd done nothing wrong. By 12:30, by 4 p.m., by 7 p.m., all of that had changed.
My predecessor said, that mouse not tenant. Is that the real
That's the real landlord.
Oh, that's the real, not the tenant.
The mouse is the landlord.
He's the landlord
Kemi
of
is
the place,
tenant.
well, mouse.
But
you know, Rufai, that moment quickly went viral on social media with the original post garnering over 1.4 million views. But British media outlets had a field day with the Mirror describing it as a grim moment where Badenoch was upstaged by a rodent really quickly.
If you check the historical antecedents of London, London has dealt with rat issues big time in the past. So having rats and rodents in the house, those are the real owners. They are the real owners.
No, it's not AI, right?
No, there's not AI. They are standard. Yes. They are British citizens.
They are British citizens. Yes.
We used to call a rat anytime it showed up like that. Okun Kalaba. So it's very interesting to see that Okun Kalaba got a visa to live.
No, he lives there. They say he's the owner of
it's Okun Kalaba. Well, we called it Okun Kalaba. To be in the office of Kemi Badenoch.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that we had an experience in Nigeria. President Buhari, when they found a rat in his office, they shut down the office for renovation. But I don't want Kemi Badenoch to go that far. At this time, when she's fighting to get Kestama removed or for him to resign, fumigation. May probably
it's a
lesson to us that it's not only in Africa that we see Okun Kalaba. They also have it in England, and Kemi Badenoch could not be able to say.
I can assure you, it's not AI, and there's no Okun Kalaba here. Yes, I can assure you, Okun Kalaba is not here. Thomas not here. I'm just telling you now.
Please, shall we end on Thomas? Rat is called Thomas. Thomas.
They have his name. His name is Thomas. Shall we take our good news?
Thomas where? Thomas Westminster.
All right, let's highlight our good news report now. Popular American streamer Cenat has returned to Lagos for his second visit, renewing his commitment to building a school for underprivileged children in the city. Cenat arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport on Wednesday to a live band welcome nearly a year after his first visit to Nigeria in March 2024, when he pledged $5 million to build a school for children in Makoko. During his live stream, Cenat revealed that over $1 million has already been raised through the Cenat Foundation for the project, while the initiative has faced delays due to land acquisition and regulatory challenges. The school site has been relocated from Makoko to Yaba, a more stable part of Lagos. Despite the relocation, children from Makoko will still receive free education once the school becomes operational. On Wednesday, Cenat met with the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, at the Lagos House Marina to discuss the project. Let's take a look.
God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day, If I take the blame, put it all on me, I just pray that I won't end up lonely. God, thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day, If I take
what an inspiring way to use your platform properly. I am so happy to see this sort of international collaboration for our young children in Lagos, Nigeria. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. You all have a great weekend. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.
Yeah. If I take the blame, put it all on me, I just pray